that is the Rebels. Let's move on to the Imperials. It's taken a little more time than I thought it would. Maybe should have split it into two. Too late. Let's crack on. So, the E-Web Heavy Blaster team. Let's go through the card. It is 55 points. That is so cheap. The keywords are full pivot, as we saw before. It is plotting. During your activation, you can perform only one standard move. Cool. All right, so it can move, which is just may make it so much better than the Rebels version. Let's not hope that's not the case. But it can only move once, which is very reasonable because this thing would be heavy to cart around. Reposition. This is powerful. Either before or after you perform a standard move, you may perform a free pivot action. That's really nice. And if we look at this little diagram that FFG have done up for us, where is it? Here it is. So they can move and then pivot, just in case we didn't understand exactly how powerful that was. It means you can get around things, and just makes it way more flexible in the way it can move. Because it's got the notch, obviously, that really limits movement with notched bases, but reposition is just a awesome keyword that I'm sure things like the speeder bikes would absolutely die for. And the eWeb also has the Sentinel keyword. Standby range, 1 to 3. Really nice. Stats, it only has 4 health, so much less health, 2 less health, if you will, than the Rebel counterpart. It does have red dice for defense, though, which is really nice. It does not have a defensive surge. It does have an offensive to crit, however, which I feel like the Rebel version would have loved, because of course you're focusing that at vehicles, whereas this you probably won't be, but that's okay. It has Courage 2, just like the Rebel counterpart. Once again, Courage 2 is excellent. Do not underestimate Courage 2. That's just so nice. The models have some E11 blaster rifles, and they get to punch on if someone's silly enough to charge this model. And I say silly enough, but hey, why not? Jump in. Engagements, a real part of the game. Let's look at the main weapon, though. The E-Web Heavy Blaster is range 1 to 3. 1 red dice, 2 black dice, 2 white dice. So it is only 1 red dice less than speeder bikes. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. A full unit of speeder bikes, that is too. Once they lose 1 speeder bike, they're halved this, almost. Whereas we're shooting full power until we are killed. They have the keywords cumbersome, which hurts a little. You can't move and shoot. And fixed front. And when I say hurts a little, I mean hurts a lot. Cumbersome makes the rocket launcher, what's that thing's called? HH-12, let's say, that the Imperials have almost useless, because cumbersome really hurts. Sentinel, however, really helps, because of course, even with a cumbersome weapon, you can move, do a standby action, and then if something moves into your standby range or shoots within it, blah, 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 you can then still shoot. You can attack because of the standby, because standby doesn't count as an attack action, and cumbersome doesn't stop you from doing it. So Sentinel does directly offset that cumbersome on the weapon. If this model didn't have Sentinel, I think it'd be far worse than it is. But at 55 points, geez, I think it's good. Let's have a look at the model. The model is so awesome. So I love snowtroopers. I've not been subtle about this. Snowtroopers are amazing. The FFG snowtrooper models are fantastic, and I can't wait now with this extra model to have a completely snowtrooper themed army. I'm currently actually painting up a snowtrooper unit at the moment and having a great time. So I cannot wait to get these bad boys in there to add some extra firepower. It won't mean I have speed bikes flying around with my snowtroopers and looking strange on my specific snow themed army. Super excited. The E-Web itself is nice and bulky and big. Look at the size of that generator coming off it. It is huge. And generators, geez, I have more to say about that in a minute. But yeah, so I love that they put snowtroopers on there and not just your basic stormtroopers. I think that's really cool, and it will help people build towards a themed army. You can, of course, trade out the crew for stormtroopers if you're that way inclined, then use these snowtroopers to add some variety to your snowtrooper core units. Convert, go nuts, play around, have some fun. This is a full tabletop game with hobby. Enjoy it. FFG have said go nuts pretty much on the hobby side and have some fun. And we know they're going to be supporting hobby as well because of the custom bases they've just released. But that's not what we're focusing on. So gameplay, weaknesses. It's slow. It's super slow, but it's not stationary. So it can still move. And because that base is so big, that range 1 movement on it is actually going to put it pretty far. Never forget that the bigger the base is, the further a unit is moving. And that base looks pretty big. So I think I'm fine with that. I'm not I have no problems with it being slow because it can move. Compared to the Rebel counterpart, which cannot. In regards to weakness, it only has 4 health, so it's pretty squishy. But that's okay. I mean, it's a Stormtrooper unit, right? Which is costing only 10 points less. So, and just look at the firepower. All right, strength, firepower. So look at this unit. So this unit costs about as much as 5 Stormtroopers, right? Those 5 Stormtroopers get 5 white dice. This unit gets 2 white dice, 2 black dice, and a red dice, with surges to crit instead of just to hit. And it obviously has courage too. So the firepower that it's putting out and the ability to stick around and put out that fire because of its courage value is huge. The firepower is so much more impressive than a basic Stormtrooper unit for the same cost. I think at 55 points, it's just so cheap. A speed bike unit is superior for various reasons, noting that speed bikes can't capture objectives, where I think this one totally will be able to. It's 35 points less, which is just a lot of points once you're looking at multiple units. So I think the eWeb is fantastic. And I have no doubt I will be using this in competitive games. There's always going to be injectives, right, that are a bit close to your board edge, and this just makes one move forward and then just sits on that objective, just shooting at anything that comes near it. I think that's really nice. So, power versus existing units, as I've been talking about, compared to a Stormtrooper unit, I think this thing is specifically better. It's not as maneuverable, sure, but if it can capture objectives, this thing puts out so much more firepower for the points that you're paying, and has surges to crit and courage too. So I think it's wonderful. I think it's really good. Compared to speeder bikes, look, speeder bikes are super maneuverable, so they can get behind enemy in cover. They can just cause utter shenanigans. They've got a little bit more firepower, and they're more survivable. So compared to speeder bikes, obviously the eWeb's a lot cheaper, but I think they're pretty on par, which is nice. I think they're both playable, and they both have a role, and that's a different role as well. Compared to the Rebels, which I think the roles between the 1.4 FD and the ATRT is less defined. So once again, Imperials may be coming out on top. We'll have to wait and see. What does it do for the Imperials specifically? As I said, excellent firepower, gives you another support option that's quite differentiated from the speeder bikes, and it's going to be doing what it needs to do because of its nice courage value. And just 55 points, people. Now, things you can upgrade it with. That is the 2 emplacement troopers. We've gone through them, we've looked at them. How can we upgrade them? What upgrades come in this kit that will also improve the rest of your forces as well? First, we have the Barrage Generator. While performing a ranged attack with a weapon that has fixed, add 2 white attack dice and apply suppressive to your attack pool. I really want to put this on the eWeb. Giving the eWeb suppressive, even though this is exhaustible, is really nice. Being able to put 2 suppression tokens on a unit when you shoot at them is super powerful. We've seen people put mortars on ATSTs just to try and pull it off with only 3 white dice. This will obviously be a lot more consistent because the dice are so much better. Look, 10 points is not a small amount to pay for a 55-point unit, but I really like the idea of sticking this thing on objectives and just suppressing the hell out of any opponent's units that come near it. So I really like the Barrage Generator for the eWeb, and funnily enough, it's got the eWeb on the art. It's almost like it's a hint. Whereas the Overcharge Generator, of course, has the Rebels on there, because you want to put this on your 1.4D laser cannon team, because while performing a ranged attack with a fixed weapon that has fixed, add 1 black dice, excellent, so you're now up to 6 black dice, and apply impact 1 to your attack pool. So you're now up to impact 3, which is really significant, and you're paying 80 points for it, so you're still cheaper than a rotary cannon wielding. Nope, same cost? No, cheaper. Jeez, I think I've been doing my maths really poorly. Rotary cannon wielding ATRT, I think, is at 90 points, right? Yeah. Nope, 85. I'm back where I need to be. So this thing is still cheaper when put on a laser cannon team than an ATRT with rotary cannon, and it has impact 3 and an extra black dice. Really nice. So both those generators are excellent, but that is not the star of the kit. The star is, of course, the HQ uplink, which reads, during the issue orders step of the command phase, issue an order to yourself. Oh my goodness, it is exhaustible. All right, so I don't think it's going to be completely overpowerful. It is 10 points, which is a lot of points to pay. But this means that you put this on something beefy like an ATST or an ATRT with Flamer, maybe, and it's going to get orders whenever it needs it. So it's going to activate whenever it needs it, which is just really nice. This upgrade is going to see a lot of play, I think, and will be utterly meta-defining, because having consistency with your actions is really useful. And because it's such a generic kind of upgrade, it can go on lots and lots of different units. I don't think I'm going to put it on my emplacement troopers. I think it'll push their cost past what their output can be. But you bet I'm going to chuck this on an ATSD or an ATRT with Flamer, because I really want those units to have orders when I want them to. And I think this is going to be awesome. And it means you can really separate them from your commander and still rely on them getting orders. It's great. HQ Uplink, super powerful. We will see that all over the table. You're going to have to buy some emplacement troopers to get some. I don't know, maybe there'll be some third-party shop paying them, maybe. You know what? Just buy bulk emplacement troopers, have a few on the table, and spread these out between your heavier units. So that is where I'm going to cut it. I've talked far too much already. Those are our 2 emplacement troopers, the E-Web Heavy Blaster and the 1.4 FD Laser Cannon team. I think they're really interesting units. I can't wait to get them on the table. I think they bring some really different strategies and ideas to the table. Their Sentinel will make standby relevant, and they will give, most importantly, the Rebels and Imperials some other options to diversify their army lists. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've learned something, and until next time, may the Force be with you. This video was sponsored by Gatekeeper Games, your key to gaming unplugged, a tabletop store offering a friendly atmosphere for people to buy and play their games in the north of Fitzroy.